On October 12th, 2024, 6:18 p.m., the text came while I was heating up leftover pasta in my Brooklyn apartment. Please don't come to the anniversary party tonight. It's only for high society guests. My mother's words, 40 years of marriage, and I was the embarrassment they didn't want around. So I stayed home, lights off, alone. Then at 8:41 p.m., my sister called. Her voice was shaking. "Why did you hide this from the family? Mom and Dad just saw the news." I froze, because across the city, on every screen at the Pierre Hotel, my secret was going public. My name is Lizzie Monroe. I'm 34 years old. I live in a one-bedroom apartment in Brooklyn. I drive a used Subaru. I shop at Trader Joe's. And according to my parents, I'm the one who didn't live up to the family name. My father, Richard Monroe, is a retired investment banker. My mother, Catherine Monroe, sits on the boards of 3 nonprofits. My older sister, Rachel, married a hedge fund manager and lives in Tribeca. And me? I'm the one they don't talk about at dinner parties. Today is Saturday, October 12th, 2024. My parents are celebrating their 40th wedding anniversary at the Pierre Hotel, *** on Fifth Avenue. Black tie. 300 guests. A live orchestra. Champagne towers. I know this because I helped plan it. 2 months ago, my mother asked me to review the guest list. Just to make sure we didn't miss anyone important, she said. I noticed my name wasn't on it. "Mom," I said carefully, "am I invited?" She hesitated. "Of course, sweetheart, but it's a very formal event, very high profile." Translation: You don't fit. This afternoon, at exactly 6:18 p.m., the text came. "Mom, please don't come to the anniversary party tonight. It's only for high society guests, investors, executives, old friends. We don't want things to feel awkward." I read it 3 times. Then I set my phone down and went back to reheating my pasta. I didn't cry. I'd stopped crying about them years ago. I just sat on my couch, eating alone, while across the East River my family celebrated without me. At 7:30 p.m., I turned on the TV. Some procedural drama I wasn't really watching. At 8 p.m., I scrolled through Instagram. Rachel had posted a photo. Her in a gold dress, Mom in emerald green, Dad in a tuxedo. The caption: "Celebrating 40 years of love." The comments were full of heart emojis. I turned off my phone. Outside my window, Brooklyn was alive. Sirens, car horns, someone's music thumping through the walls. But inside my apartment, it was silent. I'd spent my whole life being the invisible one, the one who didn't go to the right schools, who didn't marry the right person, who didn't have the right job. My parents introduced Rachel as our successful daughter. They introduced me as our other child. So tonight, when they told me not to come, I wasn't surprised. I was relieved, because it meant I didn't have to pretend anymore. I didn't have to smile through their disappointment. I didn't have to watch them brag about Rachel while ignoring me. I could just exist, quietly, on my own terms. At 8:41 p.m., my phone rang. It was Rachel. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. "Hello?" Her voice was shaking. "Lizzie," she whispered, "why did you hide this from the family?" My stomach dropped. "Hide what?" "The news," she said. "It's playing on the screens at the party." Everyone stopped talking. I sat up. "What news?" "Lizzie," she said again, voice breaking. "What did you do?" If you've ever been the one your family didn't want around, you'll want to see what happens next. Subscribe now, this is just the beginning. "Rachel, what are you talking about?" I said, standing now. I could hear voices in the background. Murmurs. Someone gasping. "There's a news segment playing," she said. "Financial news. They're talking about some huge acquisition, a logistics company. $3 billion. My blood went cold. "And they keep saying the founder's name," Rachel continued, "is Lizzie Monroe." Silence. "Everyone's asking if you're related," she whispered. "Mom and Dad don't know what to say." I closed my eyes. "Jordan, is it you?" I didn't answer. Oh my God, she breathed. It is you. I heard her move. Footsteps. A door closing. The background noise faded. How? She asked. How is this possible? You work in consulting. You live in Brooklyn. You drive a... I never said I worked in consulting, I interrupted quietly. Mom assumed. I just didn't correct her. Rachel was silent for a moment. What do you mean you didn't correct her? Exactly what I said. Lizzie, this says you sold your company for over $3 billion, that you're the majority owner, that you built it from nothing in 5 years. Yeah, and you never told us? Would you have believed me if I did? She didn't have an answer for that. I could hear her breathing. Fast. Panicked. Mom, just grab Dad, she said. They're staring at the screen. Someone's pointing at your name. I imagined it. The ballroom at the Pierre. Crystal chandeliers. Marble floors. 300 people in designer clothes. And my parents, standing there, realizing they'd just excluded their wealthiest child from their own anniversary party. What are they saying? I asked. Nothing. They're just frozen. I heard a man's voice. Deep, unfamiliar. Is that Lizzie Monroe? Your daughter? Rachel's voice was muffled. I think so. I'm not sure. You're not sure? The man said, louder now. Your sister just sold a company for $3 billion and you're not sure? More voices. Overlapping. I didn't know she was in tech. Why isn't she here? Did they know about this? Rachel came back on the line. Lizzie, people are asking questions. They want to know why you're not here. I laughed. Once. Sharp. Because I wasn't invited. What? Mom texted me this afternoon. Told me not to come. Said it was only for high society guests. Rachel sucked in a breath. She didn't. She did. Silence. Then, quietly, oh my God, Lizzie, I'm so sorry. Don't be. No, her voice cracked. We've treated you like you were nothing, and the whole time, you were... I was doing fine, I said. I didn't need you to know. But we should have known. We should have asked. We should have... Rachel. She stopped. It's okay, I said. Really. But it wasn't okay. And we both knew it. Lizzie, she whispered. What do I tell them? I looked around my apartment. The place my parents thought proved I'd failed. And I smiled. Tell them I'll be in touch. Then I hung up. Let me tell you how this happened. 5 years ago, I was 29. Unemployed. Living in a studio in Queens. I'd been laid off from a logistics coordinator job. Third layoff in 4 years. My parents stopped asking about my career. It was too embarrassing for them. Rachel would call and talk about her husband's promotions. Mom would talk about charity galas. Dad would talk about golf. And I would sit there, silent, feeling like a ghost in my own family. So I stopped trying to impress them. Instead, I started building. I'd noticed something during my years working in logistics. The tracking systems most companies used were outdated, clunky, inefficient. Delivery delays cost businesses millions, but nobody was fixing the infrastructure. So I taught myself to code, used free resources, spent nights and weekends building a prototype. 6 months later, I had a working system. I pitched it to a small freight company in New Jersey. They paid me $5,000 to test it. It worked. Word spread. More companies wanted in. By year 2, I had 12 clients. By year 3, I had venture capital interest. By year 4, I'd moved operations to Denver and hired a team of 37 people. And by year 5, we were processing logistics for some of the biggest retailers in the country. Northline Systems. That's what I called it. I never told my family, not because I was hiding it, but because they never asked. When my mother asked what I did for work, I said, consulting. She assumed I was freelancing, barely getting by. When my father asked where I lived, I said, Denver. He assumed I couldn't afford New York anymore. When Rachel asked if I needed money, I said I'm fine. She assumed I was too proud to admit I was struggling. They built an entire narrative about my life. And I let them. Because it was easier than explaining. Easier than watching them pretend to be proud when they'd spent years being disappointed. This past summer, a major conglomerate approached us. They wanted to acquire Northline. The offer was staggering. My lawyers told me to take it, so I did. The deal closed last week, October 7th, 2024. The press release went out today, October 12th, the same day as my parents' anniversary party. I didn't plan it that way, but the timing was almost poetic. While they were toasting 40 years of marriage, surrounded by people they thought mattered, the world was learning that their low-achieving child had just become one of the wealthiest people under 40 in the country. And they had no idea. Because they'd never bothered to know. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. You should come to the Pierre. They're realizing they excluded the wrong child. I stared at the message. Then another text came through. This time from my mother. Lizzie, we need to talk. Please call me. I turned my phone over. I wasn't ready to call her back. Not yet. Because for the first time in my life, I had the power, and I wasn't sure I wanted to give it up. At the Pierre, the night was falling apart. Rachel texted me updates every few minutes. Rachel, someone just asked Dad if he knew about your company. He said no. People are staring. Rachel, Mom keeps asking where you are. I told her you weren't invited. She turned pale. Rachel, a reporter just showed up. They're asking for a statement. I read each message carefully. Then another text came. This one from a number I didn't recognize. Lizzie, this is Marcus Whitfield. I'm at your parents' party. I'd love to discuss a partnership. Call me. Marcus Whitfield. I knew the name. Venture capitalist. Billionaire. One of the high society guests my mother didn't want me embarrassing. Another text. Lizzie Monroe? Harold Chen here. Let's talk acquisitions. Impressive work. Then another. Congratulations on the Northline deal. We should connect. Diane Rothman. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. These were the people my parents wanted to impress, and now they were all asking about me. Rachel called again. Lizzie, you need to get down here. Why? I asked. Because it's chaos. People won't stop asking about you. Mom's trying to act like she knew all along, but everyone can tell she didn't. And, Dad, he's furious. Not at you, at himself. He keeps saying he should have known. I leaned back against my couch. Rachel, I'm not coming. What? Why not? Because they didn't want me there. They made that very clear. Lizzie, that was before. Before they knew I was worth something? I interrupted. Before I could make them look good in front of their friends? She went quiet. That's exactly why I'm not coming, I said. Lizzie, please. They're humiliated. People are taking photos. Someone posted about it online. It's going to be everywhere by tomorrow. Good, I thought. But I didn't say it. I need to go, I said. Wait. I hung up. My phone immediately rang again. My mother. I declined the call. She called again. Declined. A voicemail appeared. I played it on speaker. Lizzie. Her voice was tight. Controlled. I don't know what's happening, but people here are saying things. Terrible things. They're asking why you weren't invited. They're asking why we didn't know about your business. She paused. Please call me back. We need to fix this. Fix this. Not apologize. Not acknowledge what she'd done. Fix this. I deleted the voicemail. Then my father called. I answered. Lizzie, he said, voice strained. Where are you? Home. You need to come to the Pierre. Now. Why? Because people are asking for you. Important people. This is a huge opportunity. I laughed. An opportunity. Yes. Do you have any idea who's here? The kind of connections you could make? Dad, I already made those connections. That's how I sold my company. He was silent. I don't need your party, I said quietly. I never did. Lizzie, don't be childish. I hung up and turned off my phone. I sat in the dark for a long time. My apartment was quiet. The city noise outside felt distant. I kept thinking about the text, the one that told me not to come. We don't want things to feel awkward. Awkward, that's what I was to them. An inconvenience, a source of discomfort. For years, I'd accepted it. I'd made myself smaller, quieter, less visible. I'd convinced myself it didn't matter. But it did. It mattered when my mother forgot to invite me to Rachel's engagement party. It mattered when my father introduced me to his colleagues as just Jordan, while calling Rachel our successful daughter. It mattered when they stopped asking about my life because they assumed there was nothing worth knowing. And it mattered today, when they told me to stay away from their celebration because I wasn't impressive enough. I could go to the Pierre right now. I could walk into that ballroom in jeans and a t-shirt and watch their faces change. I could let all those high society guests see exactly who I was. I could force my parents to acknowledge me in front of everyone, but that would be giving them what they wanted: validation, proof that I'd finally made it. And I didn't need their validation anymore. I'd built something without them, without their approval, without their support. I'd succeeded in spite of them. So why would I give them the satisfaction of claiming me now? My phone was still off, but I could imagine what was happening. My mother, trying to spin the story, telling guests she'd always known I was brilliant. My father, name-dropping me to investors, pretending he'd been supportive all along. Rachel, caught in the middle, trying to manage the fallout. And me? I was here, in Brooklyn, in control. For the first time in my life, they needed me more than I needed them. That realization settled over me like a weight. I turned my phone back on. 43 missed calls, 62 text messages. I scrolled through them. My mother: Lizzie, please. People are asking questions. My father: this is getting out of hand. You need to make a statement. Rachel: I know you're angry, but please, just talk to them. And then, buried in the notifications, one message stood out. From Marcus Whitfield, the venture capitalist. Your parents don't deserve you, but if you ever want to talk business, I'm here. Congrats on the exit. I stared at it. Then I typed a response. Thank you. Let's schedule something next week. I sent it. Then I opened a new message. To my mother, I typed, I'm not coming tonight, but we'll talk soon, on my terms. I hit send. She responded immediately. Lizzie, please don't do this. People are watching. I typed back. Let them watch. And I meant it, because this wasn't about revenge. It was about control, and I wasn't giving it up. The next morning, my phone exploded. The story had gone viral overnight. Tech founder excluded from parents' anniversary party hours before billion-dollar acquisition announced. Someone at the party had leaked it. Photos of my parents looking shell-shocked, screenshots of the news segment, quotes from unnamed guests. They didn't even know she existed in that world. The daughter they didn't invite is richer than everyone in that room combined. This is the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen at a society event. My mother called 16 times before I finally answered. Lizzie, she said, voice cracking, you have to fix this. The press is calling. People are talking. This is humiliating. For who? I asked. For all of us. For the family. I laughed. You mean for you? Lizzie, please. I made a mistake. I didn't know. You didn't know because you never asked. She went quiet. I asked you what you did for work, she said weakly. You said consulting, and you assumed that meant I was failing. You didn't ask follow-up questions. You didn't want to know. That's not fair. Mom, you texted me not to come to your party because I'd embarrass you. You said it was for high society guests only. Her breath hitched. And now those same guests know you excluded your wealthiest child. So yeah, this is humiliating. But not for me. Lizzie, I'm sorry. I truly am. But we need to move past this. People are watching. Let them watch, I said. What do you want from me? She asked, voice breaking. I paused. What did I want? An apology? I'd gotten one. Sort of. Recognition? I had it now. From everyone except the people who mattered most. Revenge? I could destroy their reputation with a single interview. But none of that felt right. I want you to understand, I said quietly, that I don't need you anymore. I don't need your approval. I don't need your validation. I built something incredible, and I did it without you. She was crying now. I could hear it. And going forward, I continued, if you want me in your life, it's going to be on my terms, not yours. Okay, she whispered. Okay. I hung up. My father called 10 minutes later. I didn't answer. Rachel texted, can we talk? Just the two of us? I replied. Maybe. Not today. That afternoon, I got an email from a reporter at Forbes. We'd love to feature your story. Interested? I stared at the message. I could tell my side. Control the narrative. Make it clear exactly what happened. Or I could stay silent. Let the story fade. Keep my life private. I opened my laptop, started typing a response, then stopped. Because the truth was, I didn't owe anyone an explanation. Not the press, not my parents, not the high society guests who suddenly wanted to know me. I deleted the draft, closed my laptop, and smiled. Because the power wasn't in the story, it was in the silence. And I was just getting started. Would you have shown up at that party, or done exactly what I did? Drop a comment and let me know. And if you want to see what Lizzie I did next, because trust me, this story isn't over, hit subscribe button right now and turn on your notifications.